Shoo shoo, tell you story time.
Our story starts in a cozy little workshop, filled with the scent of pine wood and fresh paint. This was the home of a kind old woodcarver named Geppetto. He was a master at his craft, creating everything from cuckoo clocks to beautiful music boxes. But Geppetto was lonely. He had no family of his own, and his greatest wish was to have a son. One day he found a special, enchanted piece of wood. As he carved it, he thought, "I'll make a puppet, a little boy to keep me company." He worked all day and all night, and when he was finished, he had created the most wonderful marionette. "I'll call you Pinocchio," he said with a smile. That night, as Geppetto slept, something magical happened. A beautiful blue fairy with wings like starlight floated into the workshop. She saw how much Geppetto loved his wooden creation and decided to grant his wish, but only partway. She touched Pinocchio with her wand and said, "Little puppet made of pine, wake. The gift of life is thine." And just like that, Pinocchio's wooden eyes blinked open. He could walk, he could talk, he was alive. The fairy told him, "Pinocchio, if you can prove yourself brave, truthful, and unselfish, one day you will become a real boy." She also introduced him to a wise little cricket, Jiminy Cricket, who would be his conscience and help him tell right from wrong. The next morning, Geppetto was overjoyed. His little wooden boy was alive. He sold his only coat to buy Pinocchio a school book and sent him off to get an education, the first step to becoming a real boy. But Pinocchio was easily distracted. On his way to school, he met a sly fox named Honest John and his cat sidekick, Gideon. They told him school was boring. The real fun was in show business. They convinced Pinocchio to join a puppet show run by the fearsome Stromboli. Pinocchio was a huge success, dancing and singing without any strings. But when the show was over, Stromboli locked him in a cage. He wasn't a star, he was a prisoner. Crying in his cage, Pinocchio was visited again by the blue fairy. "Why didn't you go to school, Pinocchio?" she asked. Scared of being in trouble, Pinocchio lied. I was kidnapped by monsters," he stammered, and with that little white lie, his wooden nose began to grow. He tried another lie, and it grew even longer, so long that a little bird's nest appeared on the end of it. The blue fairy explained, "A lie will keep growing and growing until it's as plain as the nose on your face." Ashamed, Pinocchio told the truth. His nose shrank back to normal, and the fairy, seeing he had learned his lesson, set him free. But Pinocchio's adventures were far from over. He was tricked again by Honest John and taken to a place called Pleasure Island, an amusement park where naughty boys could do whatever they wanted. There were no rules, no parents, and no school. It seemed like a dream, but it was a trap. The island had a terrible curse. Boys who acted like jackasses would literally turn into donkeys. Pinocchio saw it happen to his new friend, and, terrified, he sprouted donkey ears and a tail himself. With Jiminy's help, he escaped just in time and jumped into the sea. He swam and swam, searching for his father, Geppetto. But where was he? A dove brought a message. Geppetto had gone to sea to search for Pinocchio and had been swallowed by a monstrous whale named Monstro. Determined to save his father, Pinocchio dove deep into the ocean. He found Monstro and let himself be swallowed too. Inside the whale's belly, he found Geppetto, alive and well on his little raft. They had a tearful reunion, but how could they escape? Pinocchio had a clever idea. They built a big fire, and the smoke made Monstro sneeze. Kaboom! They were shot out of the whale's mouth and back into the ocean. The escape was rough, and Pinocchio used all his strength to get his father safely to shore. But he didn't make it himself. He washed up on the beach, a lifeless wooden puppet once more. Geppetto carried him home, his heart broken. He had lost his little boy. But the blue fairy had been watching. She saw that Pinocchio had been brave, truthful, and selfless. He had risked his life for his father. She appeared one last time and said, "You have proven yourself worthy. Now your wish shall come true." A magical light surrounded Pinocchio, and his wooden body transformed into flesh and bone. He was a real boy. Geppetto couldn't believe his eyes. They danced and celebrated together at last, a real father and a real son. And so Pinocchio learned that being real isn't about what you're made of, but about the love and courage you have in your heart. Thanks for watching our story today. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures. See you next time.